Happy Monday. Welcome, y'all. What's up? How's your weekend? I'll tell y'all about my weekend in a moment. Hey! We're going live in all these places, so I'm letting folks kind of get it together, take a few bites of my lunch. How was y'all's weekend? Did y'all do anything? It's like spring weather here where I'm at in Texas. So it's been like, fabulous outside. Good. Awesome. Oh gosh, Morrow 789. I am Linda, I'm sorry. That is terrible. I'm gonna take a minute, send you some like thoughts, and take care of yourself today, please. Alyssa, parents came to see you at uni with your siblings. Awesome. What's going on TikTok, YouTube, Facebook? Hey y'all. We got everybody here today. Aww. You went to a sisterhood tea party for your sorority. I love that. I was in a sorority at Baylor, Alpha Delta Pi. And for those of you who are not familiar, Alpha Delta Pi was the first sorority. I used to tell girls during Rush that we were the reason we had Rush, because 80 Pi, first sorority ever. And Baylor was Zeta Chi chapter. It snowed this weekend in Tennessee. Tennessee's kind of like unpredictable, though, I feel like, right? Because y'all get kind of like roller coaster like all the seasons. Glad you're here, Linda. Unpredictable weather. It's like that in Texas. It's crazy. But our weekend here was pretty consistent weather-wise, sunny, not too hot, not too cold. Like, it's just perfect being outside weather, except if you have seasonal allergies, which I do. Then it's like, and I hate bugs, y'all. Like, I don't do bugs, and it's like bugs season. Like, they're everywhere. There's a wasp trying to build a nest right outside my front door. There's a spider that came down on me in my car. So, as much as it's great, the weather, I don't like all the bugs. I know I'm not alone with the bug hating. You hate bugs too? Yeah. this weekend, because the weather was so nice, well, I'm not going to blame it on the weather. The weather was like the cherry on top. But this weekend, I got to attend the Anita Walk in Dallas, and it was really great to be among like colleagues, because we've been virtual since 2020. I'm in some professional organizations, and we've all had our meetings and trainings and stuff virtually. So I got to actually like see people and hug people for the first time in a really long time. Got to see some like just like warriors and folks in the community that I've connected with online. They were there. It was really great, and they raised over like $11,000 for Nita, which is amazing. Mm. Good question. Let me choose some of my food. Alyssa Rainey on Instagram. The Recovery Academy is an on demand eating disorder recovery support resource and community. I teach you everything I know about eating disorders, treating it. I give you, like worksheets, handouts, tools, coping kind of strategies to get into some of the like more nuanced things of an eating disorder. This isn't like just an intuitive eating course. It's not it is self-help information, right? For you to do these things when you're struggling with a bad body image day, or you're just really anxious, you're struggling with a lot of symptoms of your eating disorder. These are resources that you can go in the comfort of your home to help you, find a way to care for yourself instead of using your eating disorder, right? So, is it free? I do have a free course. If you go to recovery-academy.com, there is a free 3-part course that you can get. But there's also paid courses, but it's very the intention of it is to make it accessible for people, so it is affordable and doable. There are options for certainly different types of budgets and different types of like information. You could just get an individual course. There's bundles where you get a little bit more information on something specific, or you can be a member of the community, and every month you get information, and we do some like community events. So it sort of depends on where you're at and what you need, but there's lots of information there. There's so many. I think there's like, I don't know, 14 courses maybe. So what do y'all have going on today? It's a Monday. Thank you. Busy day for y'all? I had some clients this morning. Have some clients this afternoon. So this is my scheduled lunch break, and I hang out with y'all for a few minutes, and we eat, chat. You're going out for dinner with your family and boyfriend. That sounds fun. Good for you. That's living. I love it. Last night, so at the Anita Walk, so Dallas is about an hour from me. So we stayed in a hotel, and y'all, we got a free upgrade. Insane. insane. The room, it was insane. And we literally like were there for 8 hours. It was crazy. But because I didn't want to have to like get up early. I rather wanted to like ease into my morning and show up at the walk, instead of like having to rush and deal with what could have happened. Texas drivers, y'all, if you are not familiar with Texas drivers, if you've never driven in Dallas, you cannot expect to be on time. So here in Texas, it is noon 30. So lunch 12:30, lunchtime. 6 p.m. over there, dinner time maybe. So we had dinner out Friday night at this Swish Swish. Um, it's so good. Japanese hot pot, so good. And then yesterday, had some family in town, so we were in. We went and ate out again with some family and walked around a little McKinney, like downtown square. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. It was just this like fun little place to like hang out and shop. Japanese food is so good. And I don't have many options in my hometown, so we have to usually go south to Dallas area to find really good Japanese food. So this place has it. If you're not familiar with hot pot, this place where we eat at, you sit down and at your table they have like a stovetop, right, with a pot, and they turn it on, and then you order your like soup broth, and then you order like your veggies and your proteins, and you like, it's kind of cool, right? The whole table, when you have a group of people, y'all are just like cooking your food together, and you'll cook your veggies, you cook your proteins, you eat your little bowl of rice, and then you add noodles, and it makes this like really good soup. Ugh, it's good. I recommend that. Hi, I can't handle adulting. You're having a hard time, and I'm sorry. Mm. You've got my thoughts for a moment. You are right that when, thank you, my tattoos are fun. Thank you. The thing is that an eating disorder is kind of like a way to try to manage really intense emotions, whether that's like to numb them, avoid them, mask them, hide them, whatever. It's just a way to like not feel. Um, so it makes sense to want to kind of like go back into eating disorder behaviors when you're having a really hard time, you're hurting, you're struggling. This is grief, and grief is my least favorite emotion. I personally experienced it, and it is like, it's awful, but it's okay that you feel it, right? Like it's a uncomfortable human feeling that you can get through, and you're allowed to take care of yourself through, right? Because all humans experience grief, and it's okay that you're hurting. It's okay that you're having a hard time. How are you going to care for yourself instead, right? The eating disorder is a way to, it feels like it's this way of like trying to do something about your situation. You're allowed to do something about your situation. How can you care for yourself? Does it help to kind of like reframe that thinking in that way, that you're going to care for yourself instead of trying to like avoid or cope or not feel things? Care for those feelings instead. Proud of you too. Heck yeah, right? It's amazing to have days where you feel like a badass, to acknowledge it, own it, be in that, right? Like, you deserve it. Glad you're here. Y'all, my dog, both of them are sitting at my feet, and one of them is sniffing my foot so hard, it's like annoying. I guess he thinks the harder he sniffs my foot, the more food he'll get or something, but like he's not getting anything. You're not a bad feeling for having, you're not a bad person for having bad feelings. It just means you really need to care for yourself. Meal planning is hard. Meal planning can be hard, you know. I Here's the thing. Taking care of yourself, eating, right? It's like a daily basic self-care thing. Sometimes it feels like a chore. Sometimes it's like it's not. That's why we say self-care isn't easy, right? Because sometimes it means saying, I'm exhausted. I have other things on my mind. This really doesn't sound good to me right now. I'd rather be doing other things. But I also need to like take care of myself, and I can do that by nourishing myself, taking time for myself, right? Feeling some of these things. But self-care doesn't always like feel good. It feels good on the other side of it, but it means that sometimes it's like caring for ourselves means, right, sometimes we have to kind of like be with ourselves and be kind to ourselves, like a person that you were with that was struggling. How would you just kind of like care for them? It just tells me there's a question here that you really need to tell your therapist about that. That sounds like something that your therapist should know. I don't want to you say the word normal, right? Because I think that sometimes we hear normal and it feels like it's like okay or validating, right? Like just because just because a lot of people do a behavior, or it's a thing that a lot of that others can relate to, doesn't mean that it's safe or okay or best for you. Mm. It's like you're really not working on your ED. Gosh, because I think that addressing an eating disorder is a complex disease, and it's not a matter of just doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G things, right? Like, it's very easy when you're in recovery to focus on doing certain behaviors or not doing certain behaviors. Um, and it's it's more about, I think, removing like worth and value from behaviors, right? And finding worth and value in yourself. I Because it sounds like you're really motivated, right? And I think that's where that comes from. A lot of times folks want to be like really perfect in their recovery, and they want to do everything right, and but it's really hard to be perfect in your recovery, because remember, an eating disorder is a serious mental illness, right? And so it affects a lot of your thinking. It affects so much of how you see yourself, and so much of how you like filter information, right? So I love that you are wanting to work on behaviors and be motivated and focused and making progress in your recovery. That's amazing. And I think that sometimes when we have like a specific like goal, right? Like for people, sometimes it's like you know, I want to make sure my exchanges are met this week, or I'm gonna, you know, try to make sure that I journal, you know, 3 times this week, or you know, like those sort of like behaviors. Those are wonderful. Please keep doing those things and challenging and practicing those skills, because that's how you like that's how you do it. But also, right, like you struggle and it's going to be hard and you have bad moments and you have bad days, and it's not about doing it perfectly. It's more about, again, how can you show up and care for yourself and strip away a lot of that like shame that really comes with the shame and anxiety, and like that mental funk that um, comes with it. Mm. An eating disorder is never just about the weight. I mean, it rarely is just about the weight. It's usually about so much more of, you know, I was at NITA because I did a speech, and in my speech I said, you know, that eating disorders are about trying to deal with the uncomfortable feelings of experiencing a trauma, or having mental health symptoms, or even like physical health symptoms, right? Like, people have physical health issues, and that can cause an eating disorder. It's not always just about dieting or just about wanting to lose weight. That happens, but not all the time. Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you. That's what I'm here for, to try to give a little bit of information, um, because eating disorders are so stigmatized. It's problematic. They're so stigmatized. So here's some information to hopefully help some people. Mm-hmm. You can see him back there. Mm-hmm. The corgi was the one who was sniffing my foot so hard. Like, he was like pushing it. No Cheetos today. Mm. If you're not in a good mental place, then take care of that, right? So that's when you know, talk to your therapist, support, or you know, do you journal? Do you talk to somebody? Sometimes, if we're mentally in a really bad place, oftentimes we can ruminate and ruminate and ruminate, and we don't go anywhere. So sometimes it's best to just like get in your body, right? So do some grounding exercises, some gentle yoga, go for a meditative walk, meditate, those sorts of things. Breathe, even just like breathing, like long, we call it square breathing, right? So you hold in for 4, hold it for a count of 4, breathe out for 4, hold it for a count of 4, repeat, right? Even just like breathing when you're really in your head helps you get out of your head. But if you're in your head, it's hard to get out of your head through rationalizing with yourself. So get into your body. Then you have a better chance of getting into a more rational, like thoughtful, caring place in your brain. Right, but they're not underweight. I mean, they're not about weight at all. So, like, there's no weight. You don't have to weigh anything. Having an eating disorder, weight feels really important, but that's not what it's really about. some time with family, I think, this weekend. Again, this Sunday. That's what I'll be doing, taking it easy, and then Sunday have a couple family dinners to go to. What about y'all this next weekend? We just have a lot of work to do around diet culture still, and normalizing food and weight and body behaviors. It's hard. It's really hard. You're right. It's a mind fuck. That's why I'm here, to try to give information, right, to help reframe that and help unlearn those food and body messages that our world has, um, that the world has. We've got to unlearn these things, and it's not easy, right? And so that's okay. It's just know that you deserve to care for yourself, and you deserve, right? You just deserve care. So we don't often find care by fighting with ourselves and fighting with our body. So I try to just say, how can we reframe it and rework it into, instead of fighting with yourself and shaming and belittling yourself, can you come from a place of compassion and love and care? And you can learn how to do that. Because again, sometimes that's a skill and people have to learn, and that's fine. We're not taught that, but you can learn it. And I always tell folks too that a hard part of living with an eating disorder is living in the world, right? You have to figure out how to be like, I live in the world with all these diet messages too. Like, I consumed all of that media. I got all of those messages. Like, like, I'm not immune to diet or media and body messages. Like, I hear those too, right? Recovery is about kind of knowing what's bullshit, and knowing how to like take care of yourself, or how to like you're on this journey, right, to feel good and figure out how to do things that make you feel good. And if something doesn't make you feel good, you're allowed to say, like, I don't, like, can I let go of it, right? Like, I don't have to. What's the information that serves my values and suits me? And what information, like, really isn't good for me and doesn't serve me and doesn't suit me, I don't have to hold on to it anymore. I find my worth and value in these things, and that's enough, and that's okay. And again, I know that all takes work, right? Treating eating disorders really comes down to like a self-worth, self-value type of thing, right? And so that's where the work is done, and it's not easy, but it's possible and can be done, and you deserve it. Thank you. Mm. Because there's trauma, and there are, like, it's really unpacking and facing your shit, right? And feeling your feelings and not running from them and not shaming yourself from them. It's really, healing is about getting into the shit and feeling the shit and having the feelings and really fucking feeling it. And that's when I say care for yourself, right? Because it doesn't just mean lay on the fetal position and cry. That is certainly part of it, but then you're allowed to, like, you don't, how do you not stay there, right? What do you need after you cry and feel and express it and have it and like go through it? What do you need on the other side that's going to help you get up from that spot and get yourself to a place where you can get back to the life that you want to be living. It's exhausting. It's hard work, y'all. It's a lot of unprogramming. You're always allowed to recover. We're always allowed to feel better. Period. But I know that stigma is real. And that stigma causes harm. So I just try to keep talking about it. And know that it's safe to talk about and create safe places to talk about it, because these are very real issues, and it's not simple black and white issues. Eating disorders are nuanced diseases, but they are treatable, curable diseases. And so just know that you can feel better. You are allowed to do whatever you need to do. You're allowed to do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself. Y'all are always amazing. I always love this time together. I am going to hop off and finish my lunch to get ready for my afternoon. But I hope to be back next Monday with you all. In the meantime, you can get that free course or join my newsletter or join the Facebook group. If you visit recovery-academy.com, you'll be able to get all that information. So y'all are great. I'm so proud of you. So thankful y'all were here with me today. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.